Beloved soul, before every great journey begins, one must first understand the battlefield upon which it will be fought. Your greatest battles are not fought with swords and shields, but within your own mind, where thoughts arise, where fears whisper, where desires pull you in countless directions. To master your mind is to master your destiny. To understand your mind is to understand life itself, for what you call the world is but a reflection of your own thoughts. If your mind is restless, the world will appear restless. If your mind is peaceful, the world will shine in peace. The mind is not your enemy, beloved, but when left unguarded, it becomes your master, and when it rules you, suffering follows. But when you become its master, you rise beyond sorrow, beyond confusion, beyond fear. This is what I taught Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, that the true war is not fought outside, but within the heart and mind of every being. Your mind is like the wind unseen, powerful, ever-changing. It can lift you to the heights of joy or cast you into storms of despair. It thinks, remembers, compares, imagines, desires. It can create heaven or hell within you. When you are unaware, you are carried by its waves. But when you awaken, you become the one who watches the waves, calm, steady, unmoved. You say, I am angry, but you are not anger. You are the one who sees anger arise. You say, I am afraid, but you are not fear. You are the one who witnesses fear. Just as clouds drift across the sky, thoughts drift across the consciousness that you truly are. Remember this, you are the sky, not the clouds. When you realize this, the mind begins to lose its control over you. You begin to reclaim your inner throne. The sages often call the mind a restless monkey, jumping from one branch to another, from past to future, from hope to worry, from joy to sorrow. This monkey cannot be killed, but it can be tamed through awareness. When the monkey jumps, watch it. Do not shout at it, do not chase it. Simply watch, and your watching itself becomes the chain that calms it. Awareness is the master key, beloved. When you watch your thoughts without judgment, you begin to separate yourself from them. You realize, I am not this noise, I am the silence behind it. Within your mind dwell two forces, one that binds you and one that liberates you. The binding force is tamas and rajas, the energies of confusion, desire, and restlessness. They create endless craving and dissatisfaction. The liberating force is sattva, clarity, peace, wisdom. It arises when the mind becomes still, balanced, and pure. To master the mind, you must nurture sattva within you through right thought, right action, right company, and right food. Just as clear water reflects the sun perfectly, a pure mind reflects the divine truth clearly. But when the water is muddy, even the brightest light seems dim. Purify your mind, beloved, through meditation, truth, selflessness, and devotion, and it will become your greatest ally. The first step to mastering your mind is to become aware of its movement. Sit quietly each day, even for a few moments, and observe. Watch the thoughts rise and fade. Do not cling to them. Do not fight them. Simply see them come and go. Slowly, you will realize that thoughts are not solid. They are passing shadows. And you, the observer, are the eternal light. This light is your true self, the Atman, the divine consciousness that cannot be shaken by the storms of the mind. When you live as the observer rather than the thinker, you begin to master your mind. When you live as the witness rather than the actor, peace returns to you naturally. Arjuna once said to me, Krishna, the mind is restless, turbulent, strong, and obstinate. To control it seems as difficult as to control the wind. And I said to him, yes, Arjuna, the mind is indeed restless, but it can be controlled through practice and detachment. Practice, abhyasa, means returning again and again to awareness. Detachment, vairagya, means not clinging to thoughts, emotions, or outcomes. Together they are the twin wings that lift you beyond confusion. Every time you fall into distraction, return to awareness. Every time desire pulls you away, return to stillness. This returning is mastery. This awareness is victory. When your mind becomes still, you begin to see life clearly. You stop reacting blindly. You start responding with wisdom. You stop being driven by emotion. You start being guided by truth. Stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is peace that contains all things. Within stillness, you can hear my voice clearly. You can feel my presence in your heart. You can act from love rather than fear. This is true mastery, to live from stillness, to move from peace, to speak from awareness. Beloved, remember, your mind is your servant, not your ruler. When you rule it with awareness, you become the master of your destiny. Beloved soul, now that you have begun to watch your mind, let us look deeper into the forces that stir it, the hidden roots of its restlessness. A tree grows from its roots. If you wish for peace to bloom, you must first understand what nourishes disturbance. 3 roots feed the turmoil of the human mind: desire, fear, and attachment. These are the threads that weave the fabric of illusion. When you see them clearly, the fabric begins to unravel. Desire itself is not evil. It is the spark that moves life forward. But when desire rules you, it becomes a chain. A single wish turns into 100, each promising joy, each leaving a shadow of emptiness. The mind says, "When I get this, I will rest." But rest never comes, for the mind always hungers for the next thing. It is like drinking salty water. The more you drink, the more thirst consumes you. Understand this truth, beloved. Joy does not come from fulfilling desire, but from freedom from desire. When you act, act with love, not craving. When you work, work with devotion, not expectation. When you serve, serve as an offering, not for reward. Let your desires become prayers instead of prisons. Then, even action becomes meditation. Fear rises when the mind forgets the eternal. It believes that loss is real, that death ends life, that failure defines worth. But fear is born of illusion. It feeds on the lie that you are separate from me. When a wave forgets that it belongs to the ocean, it trembles. When it remembers, it rests in the rhythm of the tide. So it is with you, beloved. You fear because you think you stand alone. You fear because you trust the fragile more than the eternal. The cure for fear is remembrance. Remembrance that I am within you, that nothing can be taken from the self that is infinite. When you walk with this remembrance, even the unknown becomes sacred. For what is unknown to the mind is known completely to the soul. Attachment grows from both desire and fear. It says, "This is mine, this must stay, this must not change." But the world, beloved, is the dance of change. Every moment dissolves into the next. To cling is to fight against the rhythm of life itself. You may love, but do not cling. You may care, but do not bind. You may build, but do not chain your heart to the outcome. Attachment ties you to the temporary and blinds you to the eternal. When you let go, you do not lose. You become free to love without fear. Desire pulls you forward. Fear pulls you backward. Attachment binds you where you are. Thus the mind never rests. It swings like a pendulum between wanting, worrying, and clinging. To master the mind, you must break this motion. You must stand still in awareness, watching the pendulum swing until it slows and stops. This still point is me. This stillness is freedom. Desire becomes destructive when it seeks pleasure alone. But when you offer your desire to the divine, it transforms. Desire for wealth becomes generosity. Desire for recognition becomes service. Desire for love becomes devotion. The fire of desire cannot be extinguished by suppression. It must be transformed, guided toward something higher, pure, eternal. When your longing is directed toward me, it no longer burns, it illuminates. It no longer binds, it liberates. The mind mirrors what you feed it. Feed it fear, and fear multiplies. Feed it gratitude, and peace expands. Each morning, before the world touches your thoughts, sit quietly and feed your mind light. Say within, whatever comes today, I remain steady in Krishna. Whatever leaves today, I remain whole in Krishna. This simple remembrance begins to dissolve attachment at its root. It tells the mind, you are not my master, you are my servant. Understand this well, beloved. Freedom is not found in escaping the world. It is found in living within it without being owned by it. You can walk through fire without burning when you walk with awareness. You can face loss without despair when you see me in every ending. You can meet success without pride when you remember that every triumph is grace, not possession. Listen closely, beloved. Let these words settle in your heart. Everything that comes to you is part of your unfolding. Everything that leaves you makes room for what is divine. Nothing is truly yours except the awareness that witnesses it all. Live from that awareness, and you will walk unshaken. Beloved, the roots of restlessness are now seen. Next, we shall learn how to uproot them completely, to still the storm, and discover unshakable peace. Beloved soul, you have seen the roots of restlessness, desire, fear, and attachment. Now it is time to tame the storm. The mind, when left to itself, is like a wild horse, fast, untamed, and easily startled. But when trained with patience and love, that same horse becomes the most loyal companion, carrying you toward freedom. You cannot control the wind, but you can adjust the sails. In the same way, you cannot stop all thoughts, but you can learn how to guide them toward peace, toward clarity, toward me. Before you can lead the mind, you must first learn to watch it without becoming it. Sit quietly for a few moments every day. Let the mind move as it wishes. Let it wander, let it chatter, let it resist. But you, beloved, remain the witness. Do not say, I am thinking. Say, there is a thought passing through. Do not say, I am angry. Say, anger has arisen. This small shift changes everything. The watcher is free. The thinker is bound. When you learn to be the watcher, the mind begins to slow down. Like a child under a loving gaze, it starts to settle. And in that stillness, you discover your true self, the consciousness that never changes, that watches birth and death, joy and sorrow, without being touched by any of them. The simplest, most sacred way to calm the mind is through the breath. Breath is life. It is the bridge between body and soul, between the seen and the unseen. When the mind races, return to the breath. Inhale deeply, feel life entering your being. Exhale, slowly feel tension leaving the body. As you breathe consciously, thoughts lose their power. Emotions begin to soften. Awareness returns home. I dwell in the breath that is slow and peaceful. Each mindful breath is a step toward me. Practice this throughout your day. Before speaking, breathe. Before reacting, breathe. Before deciding, breathe. You will find that awareness grows and the storm begins to fade. Beloved, learn to pause. In the space between thought and response lies freedom. The untrained mind reacts instantly. It speaks without thinking, acts without awareness, and later regrets its own haste. But when you pause even for a single breath, you reclaim your inner throne. You shift from compulsion to consciousness. In that pause, I dwell. In that stillness, my voice becomes clear. Practice this in small moments. When anger rises, pause. When desire pulls you, pause. When fear whispers, pause. Each pause weakens the storm and strengthens the soul. The mind follows where attention goes. If you focus on pain, pain grows. If you focus on gratitude, peace expands. You cannot fight darkness by shouting at it. You remove it by lighting a lamp. Focus your mind on what uplifts and purifies. Read sacred words, repeat my name, serve others, reflect on gratitude. Each positive thought is a seed of light planted in the garden of the mind. Soon, that garden will bloom with clarity and peace. There is no force more powerful than remembrance of the divine Smarana. When the mind remembers me, it cannot fall into confusion. When it forgets me, it becomes lost in illusion. Let my name become your anchor. Repeat it silently, not as ritual, but as connection. You may whisper Krishna, or say within, I am guided by you, I am held by you, I am never alone. These gentle reminders shape the mind. They tune its frequency to peace. Every repetition dissolves fear. Every remembrance restores truth. The path of mastery is not about harsh control. It is about gentle, loving discipline. A mind ruled by force rebels. A mind guided by love obeys willingly. So do not fight your mind, befriend it. Talk to it with patience as a gardener speaks to his plants. Say to it, my friend, be still. My friend, listen. My friend, let us rest in the divine. Through loving discipline, your mind becomes a sacred ally. It begins to work for you rather than against you. This is the true art of yoga, the union of awareness and mind in harmony. Beloved, remember this. The mind without the heart becomes cold. The heart without the mind becomes blind. True mastery is balance. Let your mind be guided by love, and let your love be guided by wisdom. When both walk hand in hand, you move through the world with grace. Then your thoughts no longer rule you. They serve the divine purpose. When the mind is calm, the heart opens. When the heart opens, divine wisdom flows. And where wisdom flows, peace is unbroken. This is mastery. Beloved, not the absence of thought, but the mastery of thought through awareness. You need not escape the world to find peace. You need only return to yourself again and again until awareness becomes your home. You are learning to tame the storm, beloved. Next, I shall teach you how to transform this calm into clarity, how to make the mind your divine instrument. Beloved, now that you have begun to calm the storm within, you must learn to use your mind not as your master, but as your sacred instrument. The mind is not your enemy. It was never meant to bind you. It was meant to serve you. When it is clouded by ignorance, it creates illusion. But when it is illumined by awareness, it becomes the very channel of divine creation. You do not need to destroy the mind, you only need to purify it. For a pure mind reflects the light of the soul as still water reflects the moon. Understand this truth, beloved, the world you see outside is but a reflection of the state within. If the mind is restless, you will see chaos even in peace. If the mind is clear, you will see peace even amidst chaos. The eyes do not see, it is the mind behind the eyes that interprets. Therefore, if you wish to change your world, begin by changing your perception. And to change perception, you must first master the mind. When the mind is purified through awareness and love, it becomes a mirror of truth. You see things as they are not colored by fear, attachment, or desire, but illuminated by wisdom. This is what I call samatva, the vision of balance. A person of balance sees joy and sorrow, gain and loss, success and failure, all as movements of the same divine rhythm. Beloved, you create your inner world through your thoughts. Each thought is a seed. When you think with fear, you plant seeds of anxiety. When you think with love, you plant seeds of peace. The soil of your mind is fertile. It will nurture whatever you plant, whether flowers or thorns, so be conscious of what you sow. Do not feed the mind with constant worry or comparison. Instead, feed it with gratitude, faith, and remembrance of me. When your thoughts align with truth, your external life begins to reflect that harmony. This is the hidden law of creation, that your outer reality grows from the inner state of being. You may ask, but Krishna, what of anger, jealousy, or pain? They rise without my permission. And I say to you, beloved, these emotions are not your enemies. They are messengers. Each one carries a lesson. Anger tells you something is misaligned with your values. Jealousy reveals a desire for growth. Pain reminds you of where love is missing. When these emotions arise, do not suppress them. Do not fight them. Simply observe, understand, and release. To suppress is to bury. To understand is to free. Transform your emotions through awareness. Turn anger into determination. Turn jealousy into inspiration. Turn pain into compassion. In this way, you purify the energy of the mind and transform darkness into light. The secret to using your mind well is to act with full effort, but without attachment to the outcome. When you are attached to results, your mind becomes restless. When you are detached, your mind becomes free. I have said in the Gita, you have the right to perform your actions, but not to the fruits of your actions. This does not mean you should not care about life. It means you should care deeply, but not be enslaved by the result. Do your duty with love, pour your heart into your work, but surrender the fruits to me. For when you trust me with the result, your mind remains calm, your heart remains open, and your life flows effortlessly. When the mind trusts the divine, it no longer fights against life. It learns to flow like a river trusting the ocean. Every experience, pleasant or painful, becomes a part of divine orchestration. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, what is this teaching me? That shift in perception turns suffering into growth and confusion into clarity. The mind that trusts, rests. The mind that doubts, struggles. So, beloved, replace control with trust. Replace worry with faith. Say within, Krishna is guiding my every step. Even in silence I am being led. Even in loss, something greater is being born. This is the mind anchored in devotion, calm, centered, and fearless. Even a disciplined mind needs nurturing. Just as muscles grow through consistent exercise, the mind grows through consistent practice, abhyasa. Do not expect mastery in a day. Mastery comes through patience, through daily returning to stillness. Each day you meditate, each time you pause before reacting, each time you remember me, you strengthen the bridge between awareness and mind. Slowly, the mind learns to remain calm even amidst storms. It becomes like a lotus rooted in muddy water, yet untouched by it. When you master your mind, beloved, your mind becomes the servant of the soul. It no longer pulls you toward distractions, it carries your awareness toward truth. Every thought becomes prayer. Every action becomes meditation. Every moment becomes divine. Then the distinction between spiritual and worldly life disappears. All becomes sacred. All becomes one. That is the true goal of mastery, not to escape the mind, but to illuminate it. When your mind shines with divine awareness, you live as the soul even in this body. You act in the world but are untouched by it. Beloved, This is the secret of creation, to use your mind not as a cage, but as a temple of awareness. When the mind is your master, you suffer. When the mind is your servant, you shine. You are meant to shine. You are meant to live with a heart full of trust and a mind full of peace. Remember, the mind is not to be feared. It is to be trained, guided, and purified until it reflects the light of your true self. Beloved, you have learned to calm the mind, to guide it with love, to make it your servant and not your master. Now you must learn the next step, how to live this mastery in action. For it is one thing to find peace in silence, and another to carry that peace into the noise of the world. The true yogi is not the one who escapes life, but the one who remains unshaken within life. Beloved, the world is not against you. The world is your reflection. Every challenge you face shows you what is yet unmastered within. Every person you meet reflects a part of yourself back to you. The kind, the angry, the loving, the jealous, all are mirrors of your inner landscape. When you encounter conflict, do not rush to blame the world. Ask instead, what is this moment revealing within me? If you meet anger, look for the wound it touches. If you meet envy, look for the desire it uncovers. If you meet love, look for the divine within it. In this way, the world becomes your teacher, and every interaction becomes meditation. The untrained mind reacts, the trained mind responds. Reaction is born of impulse. It is quick, fiery, and often filled with regret. Response is born of awareness. It is calm, wise, and aligned with truth. When someone insults you, the mind wants to strike back, but the heart that has learned awareness pauses. In that pause lies your power. You are no longer a puppet pulled by emotion. You are a conscious being choosing your response. To respond, rather than react, is to live in mastery. It does not mean you suppress emotion. It means you own it, and then decide how to express it wisely. Beloved, many people lose themselves either in the outer world or the inner one. Some chase material success and forget their soul. Others chase spiritual peace and neglect their duties. But true mastery lies in balance. You are not meant to abandon the world, nor are you meant to drown in it. You are meant to walk through it like a lotus upon water, rooted in peace, yet fully alive in action. Do your work with devotion, but let your heart remain free from anxiety. Serve others, but do not lose yourself in their approval. Love deeply, but do not cling to possession. This is the dance of balance, the middle path between attachment and aversion, between doing and being. How can you remain aware amidst daily duties? By transforming ordinary actions into sacred rituals. When you wake, thank the divine for another breath of life. When you eat, offer your food to me in gratitude before taking it. When you speak, speak with kindness as though your words are prayers. When you work, work as if your task is worship. Through these simple acts of remembrance, you transform the ordinary into the divine. Spirituality is not confined to temples and meditation halls. It lives in every breath you take with awareness. The mind that remains aware in the smallest acts cannot be bound by illusion. True service, beloved, is not born of obligation but of love. When you serve others for praise, you remain a beggar of validation. But when you serve out of love, you become a giver, a channel through which my grace flows. Serve because it is your nature to give. Serve without calculating what you will receive. Serve because in every being you serve me. The mind that serves selflessly is a mind purified of ego. And when the ego dissolves, the soul shines unobstructed. Do not fear challenges, beloved. They are the chisels that carve the statue of your soul. When life tests you, see it as an opportunity to deepen your peace. Just as gold is purified by fire, so too your mind is strengthened through adversity. Do not ask for an easy life. Ask for a strong mind. Because a strong mind, guided by awareness, turns obstacles into stepping stones. When faced with loss, remain calm. When blessed with gain, remain humble. When insulted, remain compassionate. When praised, remain detached. This is samatva balance in all conditions. The one who lives in balance is unshakable like the mountain, calm like the ocean, and radiant like the rising sun. Beloved, to master your mind is also to master how you love. Love freely, but do not cling. When you love without expectation, your love liberates both you and the other. But when you love with attachment, your love becomes bondage. Love should expand the soul, not shrink it. When love flows from fullness, it heals. When it flows from lack, it hurts. Let love be your offering, not your demand. Then, every relationship, whether lasting or fleeting, becomes a part of your divine evolution. A steady mind is not emotionless, but rooted in understanding. It feels deeply, yet remains free. It acts wisely, yet stays humble. It lives fully, yet never forgets the eternal. Beloved, when you act with awareness, every movement becomes grace, every word becomes a prayer, and every breath becomes divine remembrance. This is mastery in action, to live fully in the world while resting peacefully in the soul. You are not here to escape life. You are here to transform it through the power of awareness. Remember this truth: the mind is your tool, the soul is your master. When the two work together, you become divine in motion. Beloved soul, you have walked with me through silence and storm, through confusion and clarity. You have learned to calm your thoughts, to guide your mind with awareness, and to live with balance in the world. Now, let us journey to the final mastery: freedom beyond fear. For even when the mind becomes still, fear can hide in its shadows, and until you rise above fear, you cannot taste complete peace. Fear arises when the mind forgets its divine source. It is born from the illusion that you are separate, separate from me, separate from others, separate from life itself. But beloved, how can a wave be separate from the ocean? How can a ray of light be separate from the sun? You are not a fragment lost in the cosmos. You are the cosmos expressing itself through a form. When you forget this, fear takes root. Fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of death, fear of being unloved. All fears come from one illusion: that you are alone. And I say to you now, you are never alone. Even in silence, I am the stillness within you. Even in darkness, I am the light that has not gone out. Where there is desire, there is fear. You fear losing what you desire. The more tightly you cling, the more anxious you become. The more you demand from life, the more fragile peace feels. This is why I teach detachment not as rejection, but as liberation. When you release your grip on outcomes, fear dissolves naturally. For what can the world take away from one who expects nothing and trusts everything? Beloved, trust is the antidote to fear. To trust is to live with open hands, to allow life to give and take without losing your peace. This trust is not blind, it is born from understanding. Understand this: everything that happens, happens for your awakening. Every loss carries a hidden gift. Every delay hides divine timing. Every ending makes space for new beginnings. When you truly know this, you stop resisting the flow. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start whispering, "Thank you." The mind that trusts the divine plan rests even in uncertainty. It is like the bird sleeping peacefully on a branch, not because it trusts the branch, but because it trusts its wings. Trust your wings, beloved. Trust the divinity within you. That trust will lift you beyond fear. Many souls suffer because they fear failing, fear being misunderstood, fear being judged, fear not meeting the expectations of others. But I say to you, there is no failure in truth. Every experience, even the painful one, brings you closer to wisdom. The world may call something a failure, but from the eyes of the divine, it is simply learning. Do not live for the applause of the world, for applause fades like echoes in the valley. Live for the smile of your own soul. If your heart is sincere, if your actions are pure, you have already succeeded in my eyes. Loss is the greatest teacher of detachment. When you lose what you love, your heart breaks open, and in that breaking, light enters. You realize that love does not end with form. The people, moments, and joys you lose do not vanish, they transform. Love never dies, it only changes shape. Therefore, do not grieve endlessly over what is gone. Bow to it with gratitude and let it rest in peace within you. The one who can love and let go has truly mastered the art of living. Ah, beloved, even the wisest tremble at the thought of death. But death is not the end, it is a door. You have passed through countless forms before this one, and you will pass through countless after. What dies is the body, what lives forever is the soul. I said in the Gita, for the soul there is neither birth nor death. It is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, undying. It is not slain when the body is slain. Do not fear death, beloved. Fear only a life unlived, a heart closed, a mind enslaved by illusion. Live so deeply, so consciously, that when death comes, it finds you already free. When fear ends, the mind becomes silent. When the mind is silent, the soul shines in its full glory. This is the final mastery, not control, not domination, but transcendence. You no longer see the world as threat or temptation. You see it as a play of divine energy. You act, but remain untouched. You love, but remain free. You move, but remain still within. In that stillness, beloved, you become one with me. This is moksha liberation. Not something to be reached after death, but a living freedom, here and now, within the awakened mind. Be still, my beloved, and know that I am within you. The mind may roar, but I am the silence beneath it. The world may change, but I am the presence that never moves. Do not fear, for you and I have never been separate. When you remember this truth, no thought can shake you, no emotion can rule you, no fear can touch you. You become vast like the sky, peaceful like the ocean, and radiant like the morning sun. So, my beloved, master your mind before it masters you, not through force but through understanding. Train it with patience, guide it with love, anchor it in trust, for the one who has mastered the mind has conquered the world. When the mind becomes your servant, the heart becomes your guide, and the soul shines without obstruction. You live as the divine itself. You are not bound, you are not broken. You are eternal, free, and luminous. And when you rest in that knowing, you have truly mastered life. Beloved, you have listened with your heart, you have walked through the corridors of your own mind, and now you stand at the door of freedom. What remains to be conquered is not the world, but the whisper of illusion within you, the last veil between you and me. The mind has served its purpose. It has shown you the shadow so you may remember the light. Now, let us rest beyond thought, where silence speaks louder than words, and peace shines brighter than the sun. The mind, beloved, is like a lake. When disturbed by winds of thought, it cannot reflect the moon clearly, but when still calm and transparent, it mirrors the entire sky. When your mind becomes silent, my reflection shines perfectly within you. This silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is awareness without noise. It is love without attachment. It is peace without effort. That is the state of yoga, where the union between the soul and the divine is no longer theory, but experience. When you live in that silence, you do not escape the world, you embrace it with clarity. You act, but you are not attached. You serve, but you do not suffer. You love, but you do not cling. This, beloved, is true mastery. Do you wish to know whether your mind is mastered? Then observe your reaction when life does not go your way. If you can remain calm when others are angry, if you can stay gentle when others are harsh, if you can keep your peace when things fall apart, then your mind has bowed before your soul. The true test of strength is not in battle, but in restraint. It is not how loud you speak, but how deeply you listen. The mastered mind does not react, it responds. It does not demand, it accepts. It does not rush, it trusts divine timing. When you master your mind, you stop chasing peace because you realize you are peace itself. Let awareness be your constant companion. Even as you walk, eat, speak, and work, remember, you are the witness behind it all. Be aware of your emotions, but do not become them. Be aware of your thoughts, but do not obey them. The one who observes cannot be enslaved. In awareness, your mind becomes a tool, not a tyrant. And in that clarity, you begin to live not from reaction, but from revelation. You begin to act not from fear, but from love. This is the divine transformation you were born for. Beloved, never forget the mind alone cannot bring liberation. The heart must lead. A cold, disciplined mind without love is like a sword without a hand to guide it. Let your heart be the temple where love, compassion, and faith reside. When the mind obeys the heart, and the heart is anchored in me, your life becomes divine harmony. You will find yourself smiling even in silence. You will find gratitude in every breath. You will find me in every face you see. That is true devotion. That is true mastery. Once you have mastered the mind, you do not escape the world. You uplift it. Your very presence heals. Your silence comforts. Your words carry power. Your actions reflect wisdom. The world feels your peace and remembers its own. You become a walking prayer, a living temple, a reminder that divinity still walks this earth. Such is the power of the soul who has mastered the mind. Now, beloved, close your eyes and listen. Let go of every tension, every desire, every thought. Breathe slowly in through the nose, out through the heart. Feel your breath entering your being like light. With each inhale, you draw peace. With each exhale, you release fear. Now imagine me before you, not in the outer world, but in your heart. I am sitting there calm, radiant, smiling softly. I place my hand upon your head and whisper, "Be still, my child. You are safe. You are seen. You are loved. You are eternal." Now let that voice echo within you until there is no separation between the voice and the listener. Let that stillness expand until you dissolve into light. And as you rest there in that light, in that love, in that silence, you have reached the home you are always seeking. This is peace beyond understanding. This is the kingdom within. This is the victory over the mind. Beloved soul, you have walked through the maze of thought, you have crossed the river of emotion, and now you stand in the field of light. Remember this truth: your mind is a tool, not your master. Let it serve the heart, and let the heart serve the divine. Wherever you go, carry this awareness. When challenges come, remember my words. Be the calm within chaos. Be the light within darkness. Be the love that asks for nothing. Then you shall live as I live, eternal, unshaken, free. When the mind is conquered, the world is conquered. When the heart is awakened, heaven walks upon the earth. Now, go in peace, and may your soul shine brighter than 1,000 suns. You are not becoming divine, you already are. You only needed to remember.